Hello, my beautiful human. Welcome back to the She Did It Anyway podcast. This is your shakeup, and I'm going to just be honest with you because I have to share this. It is so on brand. I just recorded 8 minutes, almost 9 minutes of this podcast episode, and I realized that I never hit record. So if you're listening to this and you're like, oh my God, I've done this before. Oh my God, that's my biggest fear. Well, guess what? It happens and it's okay. I just looked at my screen. I was like, I didn't press record. And you just shake it off and you start over again. Like, what is the other option? But let's dive in. This is your shakeup. I am so excited for this episode. It's going to be actually a longer shakeup, mainly because one, there's no way for me to share this content or talk about this topic without it being somewhat longer than our traditional shakeups. And because the past few episodes have been our live podcast recordings that we did at the event. So it'll be a little treat, a longer shakeup. So today we're going to talk about how I plan my week for like ultimate productivity and peace of mind and happiness and all the things. I asked you guys on my Instagram in a question box, what do you want me to talk about? And I had so many requests for this specific topic. How do I plan my week? How do I stay productive? How do I reach work-life balance? And I want to kick it off by saying I don't believe in balance. I don't believe there is such thing as balance. And it is just a very unrealistic expectation and pressure that we put on ourselves that we'll never meet. You will never have balance, and that's okay. So I like to focus on harmony and really doing things that allow me to show up 110% and allow myself to give myself some grace, give myself some flexibility, and just kind of go with the flow and see what the weekday life holds. So can you please DM me if you're listening to this and just laugh with me? I just can't. We have to laugh about this. I've done this before, but it's just really, really funny when I've never done this for the podcast. I've done it for like IG content and sponsored content. But let's dive in. So the first thing that I like to do is every Sunday I sit down and I look at my week from a macro perspective of what do I have coming up. This really, 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 really helps me not only prepare from like a scheduling perspective, but also prepare from a mindset perspective. If I have a shoot coming up, if I'm recording podcasts, if I'm traveling, if Sebastian has anything going on, like that is what I can mentally prepare for. And I do that. And this could be Sunday morning if I wake up super early and everybody's still sleeping, or Sunday night after everybody goes to sleep or after Sebastian goes to sleep. This is a non-negotiable. I have to do this every Sunday, or I start off my Mondays somewhat behind because I'm then spending half of my Monday morning planning for the week when that's just not necessary. So that is my Sunday. I like to look at the week as a whole and I like to focus on a few different things. What do I have coming up in a pipeline? What are some big goals that I have that I want to focus on? Any travel that I have coming up and any personal things. So soccer schedule, football schedule. Right now, Sebi's doing soccer and football. So it's a little cray. Matt is traveling a lot. So what days is he traveling? Because then I'm going to have to do pick up and drop off. There's just so many different things and it changes week by week. So I'm super flexible and we'll talk about that as well in this episode. On Sunday, I take a look at my week. I plan all things throughout the week. I like to have themes for my day. And so I pick the themes for my day on that Sunday. So Mondays are always my admin days. Again, I'm super flexible with my schedule because I don't like to just be super stressed out about, oh, well, Monday's my admin, like I can't have any calls. That's normally how it is. But if there's a client or something happening on Monday where I have to take that call, so be it. No big deal. So Mondays are my admin days. So that's usually anything internal. Emails. I record my podcast episodes on Mondays unless I am traveling and interviewing guests. But even then, I like to actually still schedule it on Mondays. I am checking in with my clients. We have open enrollment for a Brand Business Accelerator, which is our brand and business course for entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs. And so year round, we have women enrolling. I mean, specifically this season has been insanely busy. We have new students enrolling every single week, which is so beautiful. And so making sure that they're onboarded, contracts are all signed, payments are going through. I mean, I focus on everything from like, again, macro perspective on my Monday. I feel really, really organized when I have a solid Monday. Again, that's a ripple effect from my Sunday. Then throughout the day, throughout the rest of the week, I have different themes. So those themes can look like my coaching calls. So I have Tuesdays are usually my coaching and client calls, my one-on-one clients, corporate clients, consulting clients, BBA clients, all of those calls happen on Tuesday. It really allows me to just like bang out all my calls and then do any post-call work after. And then I have the rest of the week to do whatever else I need to do. So coaching is one theme. My editing is another theme. So I have a team that edits my podcast episodes, the social snippet, they're amazing. And then I have a team that does my video and editing for my IGs, my YouTube channel, YouTube long form video, and my reels and all the things that you see on Instagram. And then I have my virtual assistant that dives into all of that content as well. And so this has been really beautiful, and I'll create a different episode all about delegating, but that is a ripple effect throughout the whole entire week of, do I have a day for editing? Do I need to delegate some of that work? I have a whole day that's focused on just like macro planning. So what is that big vision? Am I getting close to it? What are my needle moving tasks that I need to be doing? And so every single week is different. But before this conversation happened, and I'll explain what the conversation is in a second. I used to start my days at whatever day, like 8:30, usually when Sebastian goes to school. My day always came to a halt at 2:30. Every single day, go get Sebi from the bus, and then it's just Sebi time, which has been amazing. And that's the privilege of owning my own business and being able to see Sebastian and spend so much time with him. Empowered confidence is scaling so quickly, and I've gotten to the point where I just need one full day of working, like one full day from 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. or 8 a.m. until 6 p.m., like whatever that looks like for me. Matt and I had to have a conversation of like, hey, I need one full day of work. It's just like a non-negotiable at this point. And he was by no means fighting it, but for me to be able to deliver on the goals that I have, I need to have this day. And so we picked Wednesdays for that to be my day. And it's really important for me to have a very clear understanding on like what day it is, rather than being like, oh, this week it's a Monday, this week's a Wednesday, this week. I need structure. And the more structure that I have, the faster it is for me to scale. The more organized I have, the more peace of mind I have. It's just something that I personally need from a personal growth perspective. And I actually believe structure is so important for all of us. And if you ever feel like, no, I'm just going to go with the flow, it's like, that's only going to work until it doesn't work. And so Wednesdays are my days, and it's been amazing. I actually leave the house on Wednesday. So even though my office is here, I do not work from home on Wednesdays. I usually will go to the city. So I'll go into Boston. Sometimes I'll take a day trip to New York, or I'll go to the studio and work with Britt Perkins, my dear friend, and work out of her space. We'll do a co-working session. When I had my intern, Andrea, I miss you so much. When I had my intern, we would go and like meet somewhere, and we'd do all of our content together. And so that day, that Wednesday, I leave very open to whatever I need to do depending on my goal at that time. So if you're listening to this, it is so important for you to figure out what is that one day where you have all of the support you could possibly think of. If I was doing this during a time that Sebi was in daycare, I'd probably just try to pay extra for him to stay until 5 o'clock rather than a 2:30 where he gets out of school now. Really figuring out how you can have one full day of deep diving work was just such a game changer for me. So really, when I'm thinking about where I'm starting, when it comes to how I plan my week. So I establish my weekly planning routine. Like that is it. I look on Sundays at what I have coming up. Wednesdays are my full work days. Mondays are my admin days. And then Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, it's whatever that theme day is. And I usually prioritize what I'm working on Wednesday, depending on, again, what I have going on for the week. So then for me to organize that, it's really, really important for me to figure out what are my tasks and like setting goals for the week. And so I look at what's really important, what's urgent. So So if I have a launch coming up, if I have episodes dropping coming, episode interviews with some big guests coming up. So all of my content will really like shift and depend on what's happening during that. If I have an event coming up, if I'm going to an event, if I'm speaking somewhere, all of those things get prioritized. For me to really be as productive as possible, I do two things. One, I time block. And during that time block, I will focus on one specific goal. So again, let me clarify. I have themes for my days. So let's say Tuesdays are my editing days. Not only is that day themed out, then I time block. So I'll have from 9 until 11 where I'm editing videos. 11 o'clock comes and I am done editing videos and I'm going to the next task. Again, it's so important for me to get really clear on what the task is, what the theme is for the day, and then I time block. I use the Pomodoro method. You can actually Google it and there's like a sound bite that you follow. It's 25 minutes, 5-minute break, 25 minutes, 5-minute break. And it's so powerful. I even bought a timer from Amazon. I bought it for Matt's stocking stuffer and I actually now just love it and I use it. So thank you. I use that to keep me focused. I'm on airplane mode. I don't look at my phone and I really focus on that time batching and that time blocking so I can finish the task because it is so easy for us to just like pull out our phone, look at our notification, check our email, whatever it is. And you don't realize like how much time goes by when you're doing that. I get so distracted if I am not just shut off from everything else and focused on what I'm doing. So really important to, again, theme out your days, prioritize tasks, and then time block. And this helps me just be so unbelievably efficient. So, okay, we got over that. Now talking about balancing work and personal life. And so, like I kicked off this episode, it's really important for me to focus more on harmony and like doing things that really nurture my happiness and my mindset. Same with my family and my friends and like all the humans that I have in my life. And so, for me to be able to do that, I am not only creating boundaries, I am implementing these boundaries as if it is my full-time job. Okay. My boundaries are so important and I am so clear about them. And these examples of boundaries of, again, hey, I need to work on one full day a week. Like that's just a boundary. It's a non-negotiable. I need this. Communicating that is very, very, very important. Boundaries with myself. Like I shut off when Sebi comes home at the very least until he goes to sleep. And then if I want to, I will go back and do whatever work I need to do or I want to do. Another boundary of mine is going to sleep early. That is really important for me because I am a morning person. And so if I set myself back by trying to stay up until 11, 12, 1 in the morning, like working, watching TV, like whatever it is, it will be a ripple effect for my whole entire day. I just can't help it. Like I'm naturally a morning person. And so whether I'm sleeping at 11 p.m., 12, 1, 2, 3, I'm waking up at 6 o'clock. It is just like my body is up and ready and at it. And so sticking to that boundary is really important. Boundaries with my clients do not text me. They do not call me. Like that is very, very clear. They can email me. We have a private portal. We have a private like DM system in our app and in our platform. And so it's really important for me to communicate those boundaries with my clients so then I can give them the best support that they need. Incorporating self-care and leisure time into my schedule is also non-negotiable. It is so important for me to just have time where 30 minutes that I can just scroll with like no guilt, no expectation. I'm just scrolling. Having time where I am working out, prioritizing that in the morning is really important. Going out on the weekends and like movie nights with family, like being able to see my girlfriends, like whatever that is, it is so important for me to schedule that out throughout my week. It by no means happens every single week, and that is okay. I'm not expecting it to, where I'm like seeing my friends and like everything is going as exactly the same every single week, but it is important for me to allocate time for myself. So I get messages a lot of like, how are you always ready? How do you always have makeup? Like that is my leisure time. That is my self-care time. Putting on makeup is something that is so relaxing to me and therapeutic that I do it to kind of like shut off. Like it's just my time. And so that happens every morning. And even on the days that I don't put makeup on, like skincare routine is a whole experience. And so having those things throughout the week is really important to me. And then the last thing when it comes to finding harmony between work and personal life is really making sure that I'm saying no to the things that are not fueling me. At first, I used to feel really guilty over that, but now it's like, no, I just can't do these things. I don't have the time and involve someone else. I'm very communicative of like, hey, I'm really sorry at this time. This doesn't work for me, but I'll reach out, when I have the availability or time or effort or whatever it is. And delegating tasks, like I said, I'll do a whole episode about how I delegate and like how my team supports me and how that's been such an evolution from when I started, because I always had this mindset of nobody else can do it the way I can. Nobody cares as much as I do. Well, it's not going to get done unless I do it. It's like, that's all BS. And then the last thing that I want to wrap up this episode with is the importance of being flexible with your schedule. It is okay. Last week, I had strep and an ear infection, and I could not record. I could not check my emails. I couldn't even listen to voice memos from my friends. Like, I just was out for the count. Because I have prioritized being flexible and normalized being flexible in my life and in my schedule, I did not feel guilt whatsoever taking the whole week off. I didn't. I was very communicative with my clients, with my friends, with my family. Emails that were coming in, it was just like, hey, I'm out for the count right now. I'll reach out to you when I am, feeling better, hoping by Tuesday, and setting those expectations and being really flexible with everything. If I had something scheduled and then Sebastian is sick or he's home from school or Matt is traveling, like my weeks change, and that is okay. So really prioritizing a structure, but then being flexible with that structure allows me to not only be more productive, but just be happier and look forward to waking up every day and looking at my schedule and seeing what's to come and all the things. And so really give yourself some grace and make sure that you are just going with the flow and being flexible and having fun with it. I always say, like, I don't have to be an entrepreneur. I get to be an entrepreneur. I get to do these things. I choose to do this. I can get a full-time job. I don't have to do this. And so if you're in a place where you made a choice to do something, where you made a choice to be somewhere, be grateful for that opportunity and be grateful for this stage and season in your life and have fun with it. If you're not enjoying it, what's the point? You know what I'm saying? And I know obviously it could be quote unquote unrealistic to want to enjoy something or like have it be fun all the time. But at the very least, you should be happy to your core. Like that to me is very, very important. I hope this helps. I know, everybody schedules and plans things differently, but this is what works for me. And so if you need clarity or help with how I do things, definitely feel free to reach out. Remember that because a certain schedule works for someone doesn't mean it's going to work for you. At the very least, try it. I always like to do like a 2-week trial period where I'm trying a different method, I'm trying a different routine and seeing if it works. If it works, amazing. If it doesn't, amazing. I'm just going to shift and pivot from there. I hope this helps. I love you. I'm so proud of you. Give yourself some grace and have some fun, girl. Love you. Bye. And don't forget, no matter what, she did it anyway.
You did it, Mom.